Good afternoon. Welcome to Cohn and Krueger. I'm Grant Cohn. That's Larry Krueger. And it seems like we're at the crossroads of the 49ers season when they feel it is the right time to bring back Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall. At the same time, the 49ers have kind of changed the discourse on the season by doing nothing at the deadline and rolling over against the Rams. They kind of opened the door for fans and analysts to look ahead to the offseason because they told us they don't really expect to win the Super Bowl this year. They're trying to make a nice little run and have a respectable season, maybe make a playoff berth, and maybe they will. But they're looking to 2026, so we're looking to 2026. And they got this quarterback controversy. I don't know if they want it. They might want to trade one of these quarterbacks. They're committed to Brock Purdy for now. Do you think other teams around the league are looking at the Niners, looking at Mac Jones, and thinking, I want to trade for that quarterback this offseason?
Yes, I do. And I understand people, he's good in this system doesn't mean he's going to be good in other systems. Yeah, but he's also this decision doesn't get made in a vacuum. If anything, I think NFL teams are looking around and they all study the trends. Baker Mayfield, reclamation project. Sam Darnold, reclamation project. Daniel Jones, reclamation project. Mac Jones, reclamation project. I think, there's plenty of evidence around if you are of the belief that Mac Jones is going to have a whole second act somewhere else, or third act or fourth act, I guess. So this would be his third team. Next act would be his fourth act in the pros. But I mean, I don't think that the belief with personnel people is Mac Jones is just good for Kyle and he won't be good anywhere else. I think there's reasons he wasn't good after that first year in New England, and it's mostly Matt Patricia and terrible weapons and terrible surrounding cast. Then he's backing up Lawrence. This is the first shot he's got. Look what he's got. Look what he's done so far. 13 touchdowns for Mac Jones, 6 interceptions. The guy completed 85% this week, 69% last week. He's playing well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me, why wouldn't he fit other systems? I mean, he was not so successful in New England and Jacksonville, but those teams were just lacking talent. They didn't have offensive coordinators who were good or playmakers. So he's finally on a team that's competent and he's playing well. Like, why would a lot of teams run this system? A lot of teams have playmakers. And you see what Sam Darnold's doing after having a year with the 49ers. I feel like a lot of teams could look at Mac and say, he could be our Sam Darnold. And I think what's nice about Mac Jones, he doesn't cost you $50 million a year. He costs you probably $30 million a year. And I mean, I'm going to name some teams right now that probably would be interested in Mac Jones. How about the Minnesota Vikings if it doesn't work out with J.J. McCarthy this year? I mean, they have way too much talent to waste it on J.J. McCarthy development. So that's one team. The Miami Dolphins. I mean, Tua stinks. The Bengals, if Burrow forces his way out of there. The Cardinals would definitely like him. I don't know if the Niners would like him to go there. There's plenty of teams that could benefit from having Mac Jones. And like the biggest knock against him is that he isn't mobile. Well, neither was Tom Brady. And I'm not saying Mac Jones is Tom Brady, but if you can avoid sacks, avoid injuries, and get the ball out of your hands, then mobility is kind of overrated. I think durability is much more important, and he has that. At least it seems he does.
Well, not only that, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks we've seen. This guy puts it on your hands. I mean, there was a play in this game where he had a free runner coming off his right side, and he had the receiver open on the right side, and the guy had like 3 steps towards him, Grant. I mean, the defender was no more than 2 steps away from keyholing Jones, and he stared right down at it and threw right through the guy and it was a really condensed flick of a throw, and he put it right on the hands. I think it was CMC, right on the hands. And I looked at Todd Husak, who was sitting next to me, and I'm like, dude, that is impressive accuracy. And he agreed. He's a guy who played quarterback in college and briefly in the NFL. Mac Jones's accuracy is not, I don't think it's not like, oh, he's pretty accurate. This guy's completion percentage his final year at Alabama is the FBS record-holding completion percentage to this moment. The guy completed 77% inside the SEC. I mean, that was an amazing year for Jones, and he's played really well. So I think there'll be a market for him.
I think it's interesting that people compare him to Jimmy Garoppolo. That is such an inaccurate comparison, in my opinion. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was fragile. Mac Jones isn't. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have a high football IQ and wasn't a particularly quick processor. Mac Jones is and does have a high football IQ. Mac Jones is a good downfield thrower. I mean, he hasn't had anyone to throw the ball down the field since Pearsall went down, but we've seen his arm. Jimmy couldn't do that stuff. I think, who Mac Jones reminds me of? All the quarterbacks Kyle Shanahan has coached, he's the closest thing to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan wasn't mobile, but Matt Ryan had an MVP season under Kyle Shanahan. Two years under Shanahan, never missed a game, lost a Super Bowl, but some people say Purdy's the best operator of this system they've ever seen. Kittle said that. No. It's Matt Ryan. And Mac Jones is playing like that. It would be really nice to see Mac Jones with all the playmakers, but I bet you we never will for lots of reasons.
How about Kittle in the post game? He's like, is Mac Jones surprising you? He was like, yes. He like answered the question like 4 times.
Yep.
So you know what? I mean, Mac Jones, I didn't think much of him in the draft. I got to be honest. I was the guy going, go with Lance, go with Fields.
Me too.
They're more dynamic. I don't want this SEC, frat boy with his pot belly and his DUI and his screw him. I don't want that. I want Lance. I want, obviously I was wrong. I was wrong because what those guys didn't have is those guys just don't see it. And Jones sees it. He processes what he sees. He's football smart. He's accurate. He plays on time. So we're now the one pocket passer. This is a guy who doesn't have mobility. Mobility is pretty rare. Brock Purdy type mobility is really rare. Now we're going to mark Mac Jones down because he's not mobile. I mean, if he was mobile, he'd be Josh Allen right now. I mean, right now he's playing at a very, very high level. And the other thing, Grant, is everybody always says, man, it takes a while to adapt to Kyle's system. It took Matt Ryan. His first year, he was okay. Second year, he won the MVP. Mac Jones is in year 1 in this offense behind a bad line without almost all of his key weapons. And he's in a defense that can't stop anything. And he's making it happen. I mean, I would say that normally I'd say Christian McCaffrey's the MVP of the team, but where would this team be without Mac Jones? If you just throw in Adrian Martinez, they're not nowhere close to where they are right now. So Mac Jones might be the team MVP.
Do you think they'll trade him this offseason to get out of this quarterback controversy?
No, because I don't expect them to trade him this offseason. They have him under contract for $7 million. Mac Jones at $7 million is more valuable than I think what he fetches in a trade. I was talking to Mayoko this morning. He doesn't think that there's going to be a market for him. I kind of disagree with Matt. I think there is going to be a market for him, but I think there is a tops out probably at a late first or an early second. And I'm not sure that I'd rather have Mac Jones, especially with Brock Purdy being fragile and the whole season relying or resting and riding on your quarterback's health. Yeah, I think if I was Kyle Shanahan, I'd rather have Mac Jones next year at $7 million than an extra second-round pick.
I think it's interesting. Like we've consistently seen with Kyle Shanahan and his quarterbacks, his second year with the quarterback is when magic happens.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, year 2, MVP Super Bowl loss. Brock Purdy, year 2, MVP finalist, Super Bowl lost. But Jimmy Garoppolo, year 2 with an asterisk because he missed a year with the ACL, but came back. Essentially year 2, redshirt year 2, Super Bowl loss, not an MVP candidate. But it seems like we never saw year 3 with Matt Ryan. But for Purdy and Jimmy, there is definitely like an upward trajectory, a very high at year 2, and then a steady decline. Don't know if that's going to continue for Purdy. That's what happened to Jimmy. I'd like to see year 2 of Mac Jones in this offense. I'm just saying.
I would too. I mean, this is a franchise that used a number 2 pick on Dante Pettis. This is a franchise that used a second-round pick on Drake Jackson. Don't tell me you're going to get a second-round pick. I don't even believe in the guys who are making the picks. So I'm sorry if I'm not excited about that. Look what Sam Darnold's doing right now. He may be playing the Super Bowl later this year at Levi's in a Seattle uniform. And Jones has found himself in this offense. And I think, there's no question that the Mac Jones that I'm looking at right now reminds me of the Mac Jones that I saw at Bama.
And I'm glad you brought up Darnold because really, and maybe in retrospect, the right move for the Niners would have been to pivot from Purdy to Darnold. I mean, Darnold's playing like an MVP this year, and he's cheaper, and he's healthy, and he's durable. And now he's up in Seattle. So now the Niners have another chance to make a very difficult decision.